Because in this American's opinion, what they did was illegal. It was unethical. It was unforgivable. Now, let's get to my first guest. He's running for president in 2024, former mayor of Cranston, Rhode Island, Steve Laffey. Mr. Mayor, welcome. Glad to have you here, sir. January 6th footage has revealed exculpatory evidence, in my view, that was kept from the general public. Shouldn't all of that video be released, be fully released, so that we, the people, can get the full story? And if you're elected president, what would you do to bring those who hid the video to justice?
Well, first of all of it should be out. It's fairly easy to say. And if you know how much of these secret documents in our federal government are kept, it would make up and down the Washington Monument 26 times, I think. So a lot has to be released. People can have their opinion about what's happening. In my opinion, Chris, it's time now to say, let's directly confront some of the problems. That's why I'm running for president. This stuff happened. The president should not have been impeached, President Trump. The Democrats lie about a lot of things. They're about to lie tomorrow morning about the budget and about taxes, and they're going to run up deficits so big that it's going to break the country. And that's why I'm running, because we have to directly confront these problems, Chris.
Well, you know, you were talking about classified information being stacked as high as the Washington Monument, and that's just the stuff they found in Biden's garage. But I mean, just imagine. Under Biden, we've seen government's power grow beyond, in my view, the consent of the governed, from leftist ideology infiltrating gov-ed schools, mandates, attacks on free speech, the Second Amendment. How do you fight back against a radical ideology like this that says women are not women and that children can choose gender mutilation reassignment surgery without parental consent? How do you push back as president on that?
If I were president, if I get to be president, we're going to push back 100%. We are going to try to get every single kid out of the broken school system. Somehow people think it's Little House on the Prairie, or they missed the last 15 years of PTA meetings, Chris. They never happened. Every parent needs to get a check. And the president, like Kennedy put a man on the moon, needs to go around the country and say this, that every parent has to be in charge of every kid. And we need to get a parent a check, because the margins we can drive through that business when it's $22,000 a kid in Denver, let's say, and the Laffey family, I have 6 that I personally homeschooled, the last 3 at like $3,000. And you can send a kid to a Catholic school for $8,000. We need kids to go wherever they want, and they all have to get out of the public schools. That system is broken. We keep taking a square peg and driving it into a round hole, and it's failure. And if we don't do it now, this is the beginning of the cycle of death. The cycle of death in America was the destruction of the public schools, because you meet those 22-year-old kids, you meet those 30-year-old kids, they're staring at a phone and they can't make change for you, Chris. That has to stop. That's what I'll do as president.
Well, you know, I got to say that's I like that analogy. If we could put a man on the moon, surely we can give parental school choice universally around this country. Last thing, I want to turn to foreign policy. When it comes to Ukraine, President Trump has said he would get Vladimir Putin and Volodymyr Zelensky in a room, and he'd broker out a deal in 24 hours. How do you see this issue? How would you be a broker for peace between Russia and Ukraine?
Well, there won't be a broker for peace for Russia and Ukraine. Geographically, Moscow says they have to go toward Ukraine and even into Poland. That's what they've been doing since Ivan the Terrible, right? They need that land, and we can't let them have that land now. So Russia has exposed itself as a country that's not a world superpower, even though the Germans still pretend they are, so they don't have to raise the defense. NATO can't just go to 3% as President Trump thought they should. They need to go to 5 to 10%. And America needs to reduce the load on itself, because we're going to be concentrating on China. But the real thing is, Chris, we have to acknowledge it's not just Russia here, China there, Iran there, Syria here, Venezuela there. They are all in it together to destroy America. Our foreign policy has to be much more complete. But just saying you can broker a deal with someone like Putin, we shouldn't be saying that. We should understand the geography of what's happening. And as long as we're using old munitions to destroy Russia's ability to create war and make them weaker, they are really becoming North Korea with a lot more land. As long as we're doing it that way, we're doing okay, because we have to make sure Russia loses.
Steve Laffey, thank you very much. Appreciate your time and your insight here, and good luck to you. Keep us posted.